Hello everyone, and welcome to my second guide, Leblanc, the Deceiver. In this in-depth guide, I'll be going over some common runes and masteries to choose while using her, as well as her early, mid, and late game potential. I'll also be going over some item sets and ways to build most effectively based on your situation. Now, make sure you
Watch closely.
because it's
Time to make an appearance.
Alright guys, on to the runes first. This is a general page to use for her. This is not best for all situations, but this is what I like to use for her. If I'm maybe going against a champ that I'm not too worried about, like maybe a Lux or something. However, there will be another page to use, one or two other choices you can make depending on who it is, such as if you're facing Zed or Talon, I'd have a slightly modified page, but this is the basic thing for her. I start out with Magic Penetration Reds. She's an assassin, an AP assassin, so you're going to need to get past that Magic Resist. That's very important to have on her. I really wouldn't swap that out for anything. The yellows are controversial. Like I said, you can swap those out. Right now I have it on mana regen, because I find that very useful with a page like this on a champion like Leblanc. You won't even need to get any mana items that don't come with your core build for mana, because as long as you take a blue once in a while, you shouldn't need any mana. The blues, I got ability power just for that extra burst early on, and the quintessences are also ability power. That may seem like a lot, but getting fed and snowballing early game is what leads Leblanc to have such massive potential later on mid game, where she shines the most, I believe. As long as you can get 1 or 2 kills early, you'll snowball like mad. You won't have any problems at all handling any of the enemies. You can 100 to 0 tanks if you wanted to with the right build. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the next set of runes for dealing with an AD assassin. I've only made a few menial changes on this. I swapped out the seals for armor because of course, you know, AD, you're going to be needing some armor. I also ended up changing one of my quintessences to movement speed. That may seem a little odd at first, but against someone like Zed, even having a slight movement speed advantage is going to help. Maybe if you wanted, you could choose 2 of them to movement speed, but I like keeping a lot of ability power early on, so I kept 2 quints of ability power. Once you get to the masteries, you'll sort of understand more as to why I'm not playing more defensively in the runes. But for now, these are my 2 most common rune pages for LeBlanc, and let's go ahead and get to the masteries. Alright guys, here we are. Onto the masteries, I put a point in double-edged sword, because although it may seem odd, because she's a ranged champion, so she'll be taking 1.5% more damage as well as dealing 1.5% more. You also have to take note that she is an assassin. Her job is to deal as much damage as possible, and her secondary job is to avoid taking any damage at all herself. She has a lot of ways to escape a fight, including her teleport and her ultimate. She has a snare, she has silence, she has a lot of ways to get away, so that's not a big deal to take more damage, as long as you're smart about it and you don't go tower diving without any of your abilities up. The next couple points are going to be pretty obvious. Sorcery for that cooldown reduction, that's going to be really important on her. The 3 points in, Mental Force for the ability power, that's also going to be very important. As we go down, we're going to go ahead and see 1 point in Arcane Mastery, just 6 more ability power, and something important on her, the Execution Mastery. Gonna go and put all 3 points into that. It's very important on her. She's an assassin, that's what she does, she kills champions. Put the 3 points in the Executioner. The next point is sort of trivial, Dangerous Game. Not many people use it, because it is, as the name implies, a dangerous game. Killing a champion restores 5% missing health and mana. Now, normally, I wouldn't even go with that with almost any other champ, except maybe Cassidy. But with her, it's incredibly important to take that. You're going to be diving into lots of dangerous situations, and like I said, you're going to have lots of ways to get out of them. But at the same time, it's incredibly useful right after you dive in, get a kill, to immediately get a 5% boost to your health and mana. Maybe if you didn't have enough mana to escape, now you will. It's very important to use that on her. She's an assassin, she's strictly getting kills for your team, she has very little impact in team fights. Her objective is to kill people before they ever even get to the team fight. That's her objective, and that dangerous game is really going to help. the 3 points in Archmage for the improved ability power. Go ahead and put 3 points in Devastating Strikes for more magic penetration, which is very important. Her auto attacks also do a little bit of damage, and I've gotten quite a few kills with one last auto attack, so the armor pen is pretty useful too. The next thing, I really wouldn't choose anything else but the Arcane Blade. That's going to help you a lot to finish off an opponent. Occasionally you're going to run out of abilities, or going to be stuck at 10 HP running away. One more auto attack, it'll take him out. This helps with that. Obviously going to go and put one more point in Havoc, so we're down the offense tree. Now the next parts are a bit iffy. Lots of people go and put all their points in the utility for the mana regen, maybe the movement speed, the recall, but I prefer putting points in defense, because like I said, she's very squishy, and if you're using the first rune page I showed you, she's going to be even squishier because you have no innate defense in that. Recovery, I'm going to go and put both points in that. It's very important. It's very helpful to stay in lane longer. Block, once again, very important. She's an assassin. She kills champions. She's going to be near champions a lot. It's going to be really helpful. Wouldn't really be a point in putting anything in enchanted armor or anything like that, because you're not building any armor, and if you are, you're doing something wrong. Unless, of course, you're getting this Zhonya's Hourglass, which is a little different. Unyielding, even more reduction to champion damage that they can deal on you, very helpful. You're going to be in the midst of a bunch of champions all the time. Veteran Scars, the health is great. Some people may put a point in Oppression, because it's 3% reduced damage from movement impaired champions, and you can't snare. However, while they're snared, they're not going to be really doing much damage to you, considering most of the time, half of the time, they're going to be melee anyways and won't be able to touch you while they're snared, and that's sort of the point. So I'm going to go ahead and put a point in Juggernaut to finish off this page. Alright guys, now on to the items and builds I do. My usual start would be a Doran's Ring, a couple health potions, and a green trinket, but the trinket's pretty much up to you, but free ward, you know, standard. The reason I go Doran's Ring is a good early lead, or a good early start on Leblanc is going to help her snowball, and when she snowballs, she's unstoppable. Sometimes, if I'll go back and I don't have enough money for almost anything else, I'll just grab another Doran's for the same reason. But if I have money to start another item, usually I'll do that. Against AD, you're gonna want to grab a flask, some health potions, and trinket. Like I'm talking AD, like bursty AD that's going to be very deadly, like Talon, who's going to silence you and pretty much leave you helpless. Mid game, you're gonna want to have secured your boots by now. They're not a huge deal. You don't have to like focus on getting them right away because you do have the teleports, but at least get the standard boots. Start working on your Deathfire Grasp. That's usually the first item I go for. People may not want to start that if you're newer, because it requires hitting yet another button to get the most out of your burst damage. However, I prefer to start that and build it immediately, because it will help with your burst damage. If you have any more money than that, and you're still in mid-game, then you're doing very well. But I would go ahead and start building other items, like maybe buy the rod for your Rabadons or something like that. But besides that, maybe an elixir if you're a little bit behind. Just keep going how you're going. Late game, I'm just going to give you the full build here of what I usually do. The Sorcerer Boots, the Rabadons, the Zhonyas, which is really helpful because you're going to be in deep a lot. The Deathfire, and a situational item. I put that there because it varies a lot. Like if you get this far into the game where you're building a sixth full core item, it's pretty much up to you, because depending on what your enemies are, it's up to you. You can build a Leandries if you so desire. That's usually a pretty good item. But if they're like, if you want to get a little bit defensive, you could do that too. Maybe a Guardian Angel, something like that. Alright, now that we're done with the builds real quick, we'll get into the gameplay. Alright, these are just going to be some clips I pulled out real quick. Some impressive plays by Leblanc, as I describe how to use her well. The main objective of LeBlanc is to kill enemies before they even get to the fray. Now what I mean is catch them out in positions where their team can't save them, kill them, and then proceed to push with a 5-4 advantage. That's her main objective. This video may invalidate my point maybe a little bit, but she's not very good at team fighting in general. She's better at just bursting down one champion. She does that amazingly well. Just hop in, kill him, hop out. Early game, level 1, you're going to want to stay back, but by level 2, once you have your Q and your W, you can go ahead and hop right into combat and just start wailing on them, no problem. When you go back, if you're low, if you don't have much gold, grab a Doran's, like I said. Usually your combo is going to be Q, W, Q, and then if possible an alt for another Q, a W, and a leash. And by then your Q will probably be up again, so you could just use that if you like. That's her combo pretty much the entire game. If you have a Deathfire, fit that in there in the beginning of your combo if possible, or at least after you leash them. Now, mid-game is where she shines. You're going to want to catch out as many people as you possibly can. That's the trick of Leblanc. You're going to want to catch out as many people as you possibly can, and get yourself fed. Once she's fed, you don't have to be afraid of almost anyone. I mean, I'm not telling you to just dive in and die, but I'm telling you, just last game, I just 100 to 0 to fed Shen. I mean, what does that tell you? He was building straight up health and, you know, a Guardian's Angel and everything, just straight up 100 to O him. She's very squishy, so you have to be careful. Late game is where she falls off, because late game, everyone's going to have Guardian Angels, everyone's going to have defenses. That's why you want to end the game mid-game. If you make it to the late game build, you're in a little bit of trouble. You can still win it out, obviously, as long as you're doing well, but you can't just 100-0 anyone anymore. It's going to be a lot harder. So my tip to you would be try and end the game, maybe not like ridiculously fast, but end it before you get to like max level, because that's when she shines the best. Alright everyone, that's the end for this guide. Expect more in the future, and check out my Kassadin guide if you haven't already. He's very similar to Leblanc. Thanks for watching. If I forgot anything, mention it in the comments and I'll keep you up to date on that. And play smart, and soon they'll be
Right where I want them.
see ya.